Want to know the most profitable niche for your agency? In this video, I'm going to break down how I uncovered our most profitable niche and exactly how we've now helped over 700 agency owners and consultants, service providers find theirs, just like you're going to do right now. So in this video, I'm actually going to take you through a training that we call the Defined Specialty Checklist that we actually take our clients through. And it's how we find the right positioning for our business by really honing in on who our ideal client is. So when I talk to most agency owners, they say that they take on clients because they have to. If that's you, this is going to be helpful. On the flip side, you also might have found that your agency growth has stalled. Oftentimes we see agencies that stall in their growth because they actually picked a niche that they were told was a profitable niche, but they actually don't like. And so we see this a lot inside of earlier stage entrepreneurs that maybe bought a course on like how to be an SMMA or something, and they chose dentists because like dentists have money. While it might have worked or does work to get you to 10K or maybe even 30K a month, you end up stalling somewhere. We usually see that happening somewhere between 30 and 50K a month. And oftentimes the reason is like, in this case, you just don't like dentists. That's the first reason. So you stall because you don't like the people that you're actually serving. And two, you don't have any real industry experience or connection to that industry in the first place. We see this happen a lot. And because as humans, we don't grow into pain, when you need to go learn more about these people or get more intimate with your dentist clients to figure out how to make your service actually deliver results that keep them around, you don't want to because it's not fun, it's not interesting, and that means pain. You won't grow. Really, you're like, oh, I'm not a great entrepreneur. I don't know how to hire. I don't know how to do these things. And it's like, really, it's just because you're growing a business serving someone you don't care about. And that's why you stall. So that's why I think picking your niche is not as easy as just picking something because that market has money. It can get you started, but it can be easy in a different sense. It can be easy in the sense that it should feel more natural, probably more natural than you've been making it out to be. No matter which niche you choose, growing a business at some point is going to be hard, or else everyone would be doing it. And over time, you're actually going to get better and your niche will be more and more refined, meaning your niche and how you define your niche and your ideal client profile is going to get more specific over time as you work with more of them. If version 1 feels not amazing, don't worry. Version 10 will look a lot more refined and you'll be a lot more confident in that. At the bare minimum, though, we need to understand what are the ingredients of a successful market. So ingredients of a successful market look like this. First and foremost, they have a painful problem. Some of you guys, at least many agencies that have come to us that are either early and or stalled, they stall because they're just not solving a problem that is painful enough for enough people to give them money. Or they're solving a problem that they think is painful, but their client doesn't really value. The next thing, like I already alluded to, is you're solving a problem and working with people that you just don't like. When my agency got started, I was fascinated with online entrepreneurship and I loved automation. I wanted to work with people that were building online businesses that liked automation. And so I fell into working with people that used Infusionsoft, now Keep, or a HubSpot, that were selling courses and coaching and authors and selling books. Like, I was really intrigued by those people. I cared about the problems that they had. And so me figuring out how to help them and going deeper and becoming more valuable to them was interesting to me because I liked them. We also want to make sure it's a growing market. We had a client come to us years ago, whatever, that has nothing to do with religion, but he served churches and he was very faithful and loved very much a part of his church. But he noticed that there were less and less churches every single year. So he was trying to serve this market, one that really didn't have a painful enough problem. He loved them. He wanted them to win, but the market was actually declining. It's like if you were coming into business now today and you're like, I'm going to work with newspapers, like that market is decreasing. Probably not the best market to jump into. The next thing is that they're easy to target. Most markets that you pick will probably have some sort of association or organization. They have Facebook groups, they have conferences or trade events. Like when you can find a market that has those things, finding them becomes a whole lot easier. Targeting them becomes a whole lot easier. And last, purchasing power. Like, do they have the ability to pay to solve that painful problem? If your service is you want to help unemployed people get jobs, well, while that's noble, a lot of unemployed people might not have purchasing power. If you want to charge high ticket or premium type prices, that might not be the type of market that you want to serve because they're looking for a job, meaning they're looking for money. While that example is very simple, we see a lot of folks come in that like they don't have the making makings and the ingredients of a successful market. So we first got to understand this. Here's the reality. Because you have maybe past agency experience, you might see these bigger brands or maybe larger companies feeling like this is a problem. Your plan is to go serve like the smaller versions of them, which is what I did, and realize that the smaller versions of them don't actually view that as a painful problem yet because they're much further behind and less advanced. In my world, when I got started, I was doing mobile marketing solutions, text message marketing, mobile apps for a large retailer, hundreds of locations, but also international. And when I went out on my own, I first started working with like the smaller versions of that company that like aspired to be them, like the big company. They didn't even care about mobile. Like they hadn't figured email out yet. You can't make someone fall in love with your solution. You as the service provider need to fall in love with the problem that your ideal prospect has. Hence going back to like, if you really like these people, your service is going to evolve over time because their problems are going to evolve over time, which actually gives you a lot of longevity. Here's how there's kind of two ways that you can explore market fit. The most common is simple. You look at an industry, like you have a specialized service and then maybe a niche within the industry. Most people only ever say, hey, like we're going to pick an industry, e-com. Well, like e-com's really vague. You might go beauty in the e-commerce space or women's beauty inside the e-commerce space. And then you might even go have a specialized service for them. So you only do paid acquisition for women's beauty products. That would be how you would come to this spot right in here. That's how you'd find the overlap. So what is your specialized service for an industry and even the niche subset of that industry? That's one way. What I like and I find to be a really great way to do this is add a few more ingredients. So you probably have some form of specialized experience. You probably also have a few clients that you've really liked working with, things that you're passionate about. You also maybe have general experience in a certain area, and then you're cut out for some unique things. Let's look at what that looks like. And now if you want this workbook, by the way, there's a link in the description to get this workbook. And we're going to take you through an exercise on how to brainstorm. And there's a few exercises that you can go through yourself. But here's the modern market fit. This is like how most people explore market. And I love this methodology. But if we want to zoom out and be like, what's the real simple version of this is who do you serve and what do you sell? Oftentimes, like you want to work with a certain type of who and they need a certain kind of what. The people that there, you have that overlap. But one possibility is your who can remain a little bit more broad if your what is really specific. For example, let's say you do paid lead generation and you're really good at driving appointments. Your what is actually pretty specific. We drive appointments using paid traffic. The who that needs appointments could actually be a little bit more broad. You might not have to go just like a med spa. You could do med spas, you can do chiros, you could do other types of similar services that are appointment-based businesses. So if you only do ads to drive appointments, there's probably a variety of businesses who fit the bill that could be qualified for that offer. If you were to say that's what we do, and then you were to take a client that sells digital products or physical products, not via appointments, well, your what now needs to expand because your deliverables have to change. Because to sell a digital course or a book or a cream is going to be different than getting an appointment for someone to walk into a physical location. Ideally, we want in one scenario, your what becomes more specific, which allows your who to still remain a little bit broad, or your who is so specific that your what can be a little bit more robust. So we had a client that worked only with permanent makeup artists. You probably didn't even know that that was a market, right? And when they started, they did very few things. They actually did website and brand identity. Now they've actually expanded. They now help these permanent makeup artists launch digital courses and training to monetize people that are not just coming in to do makeup. A lot of them are actually doing this. Now she's speaking on stages and teaching people how to create their course, create their training, get customers, acquisition. So her what has become a little bit more multi-service, a little bit more broad, meaning this, again, this circle is larger, but their who is a permanent makeup artist. If the agency came in and said, hey, can you help me do all of this? That would be making this circle have to get bigger. The more specific your who, you could go really deep on solving a lot of problems for those people. All this to say is it's not just niching down to an industry anymore. You can niche down to very specific problems that require very specialized services. And that's a really great way to get traction. Let's brainstorm. If you want to download this workbook to brainstorm, this is the exercise that I want you to go through. If we look at specialized experience, you have to ask yourself, do you have experience or domain knowledge in a given industry? These are examples from previous clients. Well, they previously worked in-house at an e-commerce brand. Now their agency helps e-commerce brands, or they've built tons of sales funnels and now they're helping other people deploy a sales funnel. They look at their general experience. One of our former clients, he actually used to work in his father's roofing company from very early age and took over their marketing. Now his agency works with other roofing companies. So like, it's his background, right? We had a client, Pedram, who was a coach that was facilitating workshops. And so he really understood event delivery. Guess what his service does now? It helps other people facilitate and package up workshops. Passion areas. We have a client that loves mountain biking and serves mountain bike brands. Unique capabilities. I'm really good at copywriting, or hey, I really know how to use HubSpot well. That combined with maybe a passion area or general experience might help you identify who you could go best serve. And lastly, if you already have clients, you need to say, hey, who are the best clients? What do they look like? When we were building funnels for people in our agency, we realized that all of our best clients, the ones that we loved working with, all had at least one person already helping them with their marketing. If we had to work directly with the founder and that was it was always a little bit of a challenge. But if we had someone else that could pull reports and do some of the low-level, low-paying work, we actually worked really well because we were engine builders. They knew that we shouldn't be doing that level of work. When you look at the combination of these 5 things, you're going to hopefully find some overlap. In this workbook, again, download the link from the link below. I'm going to take you through this ICP finder. Basically, you're going to look at each of your 3 ideal clients and you're going to look at, are you solving a problem? Can you get them results, etc. This is a good exercise for you, but a few key reminders when it comes to finding your ideal market. First, your goal is to find, I think, a sub-market of the categories, again, which could be either problem-based, it could be the more specific who, it could be the more specific what. Specific for you, when you specialize, it means speed. It's going to come to, how do you get clients faster? Well, if you can find them because they're so identifiable, that means you're going to start conversations faster. You can go get leads faster. Selling, the sales process will be faster. Everything from marketing, sales to delivery will be faster the more specific you get. So really what that means is specialization is a strategy for you, especially early on. You want to get traction, the more specific of a problem for the more specific of a person, the better. It doesn't mean you have to go after dentists or chiropractors or some other niche just because someone said. When you go through this exercise, and again, download the workbook if you want it to go through it on your own time, you're going to find that unique combination of people that you and only you are best suited to serve and that you want to serve. And that's going to be the most profitable niche for your agency. Once you've found that, go check out this video here because we'll break down the key systems that you need to scale once you've identified your ideal client profile.